Often when we talk about reading, we think about that reading where kids take a book, they sit down, whether at home or at school, and they either read aloud or read quietly to themselves. What I want to say is there's ways to sneak reading into everyday life that your kids won't be able to detect. And the ideas I'm sharing here are ways to show and to develop skills, important on-task skills for reading that really do make a connection between the skill of being able to read and how it's valuable in everyday life. So the perfect example is this. You're driving in the car. We all spend a lot of time in the car. And you say, hey, can you help me find this street that we're looking for? Or will you keep your eyes open for the sign that says, or what's the speed limit here? These questions force kids to kind of be engaged and look around, and now what are they doing? They're reading all the street signs. And even kids who can't read full street signs, you can say, I'm looking for Kalamazoo. Kalamazoo starts with a K and an A. And so now they're just looking for signs that start with K and A as you go down. You get the idea. So a small question that forces them to use reading in a meaningful way. Okay? Having kids add items to or read items from a grocery list. We keep a list inside of our house of groceries that we need to pick up. Having kids read those while they're in the grocery store is a helpful way to go. We at times have left just funny, silly notes around the house, little clues or things like that. My wife often writes little notes in lunch boxes and things like that. These are fun, silly ways to get kids reading as well. There's kind of a lost art of writing thank you notes or reading and writing cards. This is a very valuable thing that encourages literacy as well. So having them read that card before they open up their birthday gift or whatever it might be. I have a whole bin in my classroom of joke and riddle books. Kids love jokes and riddles. They love them. And while they're reading them, it almost feels like they're cheating. I've had kids say to me, when they're partner reading, can we read this book? Like, is this allowed? This is the type of reading that I just think is perfect. And kids, especially kids who you want to get to read aloud more, jokes and riddles are a great way to do that. Kids can help sort the mail at home. So they bring the mail in, they can help sort that. That requires some reading at home. There's always the back of the cereal box. Most cereal boxes have some little games and things like that? That's great. That's a way to engage with texts and images. We can have them help with cooking directions. Obviously, maybe you've had kids help mix or cut or whatever, but actually having them read through the directions that are either in the cookbook or on the screen, these are helpful things to do as well. You can get, instead of just getting coloring books, get activity books that have kids do certain things like that. These are ways to engage reading as well. And then also, recently, just in the last year or so, we got IKEA furniture, and we were putting that together. Having kids read, even the pictures, I realize it's not text, but having them read the pictures of an IKEA piece of furniture or a Lego model that they're building. These are really important skills, looking for the most, what differentiates between these two images, or what's the most important things happening here, or really kind of looking at an image and pulling it apart visually. These are really good ways to use some of those reading and discerning skills. So lots of sneaky ways to trick your kids into reading. But no, really, I think for many of these things, these are just real-life examples of how reading can be used. If you have other ideas of ways to sneak reading into everyday life, please feel free to share them below. And hopefully you'll find this as a good way to make reading really come to life for your kids.